Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's Munch and Learn. It's all about creating a growth mindset. Now, what the heck is a growth mindset, I hear you ask? I want to just tell you a story of one of the people that I admire most. I've unfortunately never had the opportunity to meet him, but I read a lot of his books. A chap by the name of Jim Rohn. A lot of you might have heard of him. Anyway, he famously talks about when he was young, when he was 25, he went through an absolute dip in his professional and personal life. He talks about having pennies in his pocket, no money in his bank account, his creditors crawling after him, really a bad time. And he blamed the world. He blamed the government. He blamed taxes. He blamed high prices. He blamed his boss, the company. He blamed everything except himself. Now, 6 years later, when he was 31, he was a millionaire. What had changed? The government was still the same. The taxes were still the same. Prices, boss, company, everything was the same. But the one thing that had changed was him. And it was all down to a growth mindset. How did 25 to 31 destitute, or not destitute, but really in a bad place, to a millionaire in 6 years? Because he believed he can. So another little story, someone else I admire immensely, Napoleon Hill, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, when he famously said, and was taken on by Muhammad Ali, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, and I want you to listen to that word, believe, you can achieve. So whatever you can think about, if you really, really believe about, you can achieve it. And that's the essence of a growth mindset. A growth mindset is a mindset that people believe that they can achieve it. Whether it be sports people, business people, whatever. If you really believe something, you can achieve it. They also believe that your intelligence, your capabilities, your skill set are not cast in concrete. They're not set and can never be changed. Through hard work, learning, experience, they can be changed. And that is the essence of a growth mindset. Now, conversely to a growth mindset, what is the opposite of that? It's a fixed mindset. So what is that? I think it's important to understand these two concepts so you can think to yourself, okay, where am I? Where do I sit on it? A fixed mindset is belief that my experience, or not my experience, my skill set, my knowledge, intelligence, for want of a better word, that's it. It's cast in concrete. I cannot change it. So when I think of successful business people or successful sports people, I say, wow, they're lucky. It's in their genes. Or they grew up with all the support and everything. I could never become that because they're special. I'm not. And that is completely the opposite of what is actually true. But the whole thing is you have to believe it. You have to believe that you can change, that hard work can get you somewhere. Now, I'd like to just take a moment, and please, if there are any questions, just put them in the chat box, and Karen will get them to me. I want to we've touched on what is a growth mindset, what is a fixed mindset, and I'd like to read a couple of differences. Now, a fixed and growth mindset is contrasting attitudes and beliefs that we hold about our own abilities or capabilities. So the difference between the two, I say beliefs to start off. So a belief for a fixed, I'll talk about a fixed mindset first, and then what a growth mindset is. So a fixed mindset belief is, as I said, my qualities, my intelligence, my capabilities, those are fixed, hence fixed mindset. Now they can't be changed, no matter how hard I work or learn. A growth mindset, I believe that where I'm sitting now, my abilities, my capabilities, my knowledge, I can improve all that. But yeah, it's going to take some hard work. It's going to take some learning, but I can change it. I can be as successful as the big business people that you know, the sports people that you know. So this is applicable to not only to you in a business point of view, but in your life as well. So believe. Response to challenges. Now, a fixed mindset, given a challenge, well, they tend to avoid them. They'll rather take the easy route because they're scared of failure. Don't want to mess up, don't want to disappoint themselves or their body. They're conscious of their self-image. So they'll steer away from challenges. Now, conversely, of course, a growth mindset will actually love challenges. You see a challenge as an opportunity to learn and improve. So what if you fail? Well, that's part of learning. But grasp those opportunities. So it's a matter of looking out in the world and the difference between, oh my goodness, I don't know if I could do that, opposed to, oh wow, that's a bit of a challenge. Let's go and see if we can. Yeah, but what happens if you don't make it? Well, I'm sure I'll learn something along the road. So how do you respond to challenges? View of effort. Now, this is an interesting one. Someone with a fixed mindset will not go the extra mile or go and commit any effort, because if they believe that they don't have the capability or the knowledge to do it, then why must I even bother? So they won't. It sort of ties in with the previous one. They don't choose big challenges. They rather choose things that I'm comfortable with doing that. So once again, how are they going to grow if you just carry on doing the same thing? We talk about in action coaching, no limits, about the comfort zone, power zone, and danger zone. Very much about this fixed mindset, want to stay in their comfort zone where they're comfortable. So please go and have a look at that, or get hold of one of us, because it's an important concept to have. So the view of effort for a growth mindset is they see, actually, I need to put in method to master the various different things, to grow myself. So I'm continuously looking for opportunities, and I know there's going to be hard work, but hey, bring it on. I embrace it. Response to setbacks. Now, this is a very interesting point. Response to failure and everything. Now, a fixed mindset, they often see it as just a confirmation of, yeah, I told you so. Yeah, not good enough. No, I can't make it. I told you I wouldn't be able to make it. And that sort of goes into the spiral. Oh, I'm useless. Oh goodness. Now I'll just stick to what I know. Back to the comfort zone thing. Whereas people with a growth mindset embrace failure. They see it as an opportunity to learn, to develop. You go and speak to any successful person, whether it be business, whether it be community, whether it be in sport, and you got to ask them the question, what about failure? Are you scared of failing? Or how has failure impacted you on your path to success? And each and every single one of them, I guarantee you, will say, I learned so much. You can't learn without failing. So there's that difference between fixed mindset, oh God, no, told you I'm useless, therefore I'm going to stick to the stuff I know. Growth mindset, wow, of course it's part of it. It's not always nice, but we learn from it. It's part of success. And then the fifth difference between the two is feedback. Now, often a person with a fixed mindset perceives feedback in a negative manner. So it becomes personal, or you personally criticizing me, where you saying I'm bad, I'm used. Whereas a growth mindseted person sees feedback as constructive criticism, as guidance. It helps me learn. So it's part of when I talked about the failure, that I take it on as an opportunity to learn, to develop myself. I also see feedback. Yes, tell me where I went wrong. Tell me how I can improve that. It's all about learning. Remember, right in the beginning, we said the definition of a growth mindset was the belief that we can change how we are at the moment, so we can grow. Our capabilities, our abilities, we can increase them, we can improve them through hard work and learning. So everything about a growth mindset is all about that, is grasping opportunities. How can I improve myself? How can I, that's where I want to go. How can I get there? As opposed to, oh no, no, that's too dangerous, or I'm scared of that, or I'll never be able to do that. I think and I know I'm in England and I'm a South African, you can hear from my accent, but I'd like to just use an example of a recent Rugby World Cup semi-final where South Africa beat England in the final dying minutes. That belief that they could still win. Now, I'm not going to go into arguments about right and wrong and all the rest of it, but I think what's important is a belief that they could still improve themselves and actually go on and win. That's a growth mindset in sport. You can have a look at so many people that have come from, no matter what sport it was, from places where, crikey Moses, how are they going to dig themselves out of that hole? But through growth mind, I'm not beaten. That's just a challenge to me. And that, I think, is fundamentally very, very important about the difference between a fixed and growth mindset. Are there any questions? Okay, we'll get to some later on. I see there's a couple coming up. But what I wanted to do is, now we've understood what a growth mindset is versus what a fixed mindset is. We've understood what those component factors are, the belief, the response to challenges, the view of effort, the response to setbacks and failure, and then feedback. When we've gone and had a look at the difference between all of them. And I keep on talking about sport and successful people, but how does that, I hear you ask me, how does that apply to me in my business? So how can a growth mindset actually help me to grow my business? Well, there's a load of different ways of doing it. Now, obviously, as we've gone through you and your individual, as an individual, what you need to believe, it's all about that belief that you can do it. Now, you've got a team around you, whether you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 300. How do you encourage this? One thing, me having a growth mindset, but how do I encourage that with everyone? Well, the first thing is encourage innovation. Innovation is new ideas. Give an environment, provide an environment where you encourage your team to think creatively. Encourage them to come up with new ideas. Don't be the sort of person that says, oh God, that'll never work. And it doesn't matter which employee, the lowest employee, the most junior, the youngest employee, may come up with an idea. Listen to them. They're not always going to be right. But encourage that the team think, yeah, actually, do you know what? The boss is listening to me. The owner is listening to me. I can make suggestions. So encourage innovation. That's first and foremost. I'd advise you to take notes of this, but I will give Karen the hard copy of this so that you've got some reference to refer to. Adaptability to change. The world throws things at us. I mean, 4 years ago, COVID, who could ever see that happening? How did we have to change to cater for that, to survive that? And continuously things are happening. The economic situation in this country is not great. If you carried on doing what you were doing pre-COVID, or when the interest rates are low, where would you be now? So you need to embrace change, and it's one of the most difficult things because humans, we don't like change. We're not comfortable with change. But being able to communicate that and to be able to give your team an understanding that actually, do you know what? It's not as scary as what it is, but you need to be able to change. Markets change, all sorts of things change. So having a growth mindset will embrace that. Promoting continuous improvement. So what's continuous improvement? Improving ourselves as a company. So encouraging learning and development, and not just right across the thing. Oh, okay, I've been at corporates where I've been in a desk job, and they're giving us a compulsory training on what to look for and what to be careful of when operating a forklift truck. I'm not advocating that, not learning for the sake of learning, but have a look at the person in the role that they're playing. How can they develop something bespoke to them? Involve them in the whole process, but create this environment that you have personnel coming to you, members of your team, and saying, I've just found this wonderful thing online. Can I go and do that? Even if it doesn't cost anything, allow them the time to do it. Encourage learning and development. So promoting continuous improvement. One of the big things is resilience in the face of challenges. Now, all of you have sit in and have gone through as business people. If you're listening to this, you're either just starting up, or if you aren't starting up, your business has been going for some time through some of the most difficult times. So you show resilience in the face of challenges. And it's being able to, once again, when we fail, is to be able to pick ourselves up and carry on. I'll go back to the South African rugby team when they were down and out with 2 minutes to go. What did they do? They came back again. And that's exactly that in business. Life and reality is going to throw things at you. Accept them as challenges, learn from them, but then also give your team create the environment where they feel it's okay to fail. I'm not saying just go and throw caution to the wind, but they must feel okay. Let's get away from the blame culture. So if someone does fail, well, brilliant. Okay, what happened? What did you learn from that? But give them the environment, the feeling that they know that they can take risks, calculated risks, calculated risks, and be able to test the bounds. You're not going to grow unless you do that. The growth mindset also promotes a culture of success, that we celebrate success. Yes, we go through failure, as we've said, but we celebrate success. We create this, wow, this good feeling. We've just won a contract. Boom, everybody. I often hear people saying, well, we've won a contract, but that's the sales team that won the contract. That's not the operations team. That's not the admin team. Of course it is. Because without all the supporting teams, the sales team wouldn't be able to go and do that, or the salesperson. Now, we're all in it together. Like a sports team, each and every single person contributes to that. The admin people give the operational people the chance to go and do what they're good at. They don't need to worry about all this admin stuff. And so the salespeople, we've all got a role to play in it. So we need to create this culture of embracing success and celebrating success, but everybody, not just individuals or a team. And then lastly, and I think this is, I ask people, what is your values and what's important to you as a business? And it's customer services. We're customer service orientated, but are you actually? A customer-centric approach. How do you prioritize understanding of your customer? Do you really understand your customer and what they need? How often do you listen to them? Yeah, fill in here's a customer feedback form. How much thought has gone into that feedback form? What do you do with the feedback once you get it? Do you actually adapt your products or your services in line with what your customer needs? Now, if you've done things correctly and you've gone and really analyzed your target market and who your real customer is, then it just makes sense to be able to do that. Do you go the extra mile? And long-term relationships. I've heard estate agents say to me, oh, Duncan, come on, people buy one house, either in a lifetime or maybe every 10, 15 years. Do they? How do you know that first-time buyer is not on the verge of investing in property? How do you know that they're not planning a big family, that in 5 years' time they want a bigger house? You don't know that. What does it actually cost to go and send a card Christmas time and everything like that, keeping him in the mind. So foster the long-term relationships and customer loyalty. Now, everything about a growth mindset, you say, how does that work with that? Well, thinking ahead, not thinking fixed mindset, they're only going to buy once in a lifetime, they're never going to come back to me. Growth mindset is, wow, they might do, as I explained now. So I hope you can see that overall a growth mindset, just those beliefs and the way that you accept challenges, accept failure, the way that you work with it, the continuous wanting to learn and to improve, and how much of a difference that can have in growing your business. Just having your team feeling comfortable that actually, do you know what? I can make suggestions. I'm not going to shout it down. I can take a chance. I can actually fail. I'm not going to be fired if I'm failed and blamed and everything else. It's actually a learning process. You're going to have a look at the big successful teams and businesses in the world, and this is how they embrace things. So I hope that's given you a little bit of a background to a growth mindset and improving the business and fueling the business growth and innovation. Now we've got about 8 minutes left, and I've got a couple of questions here that have been given over time. So number one question, what are some effective strategies for fostering a growth mindset in a business? Now we've spoken about a couple of them, but I think two of them, the three top ones that come to mind for me, is having a strategy which encourages risk taking, obviously within boundaries, but encouraging risk taking, this continuous improvement, learning, and encouraging that, giving that environment so that a team member, as I said earlier on, can come and say, Joe, what I've just seen a course or something that I'd love to go and do. And people are coming to you, not waiting for you to go to them. And then, of course, as we've said a couple of times, embrace failure. See it as a challenge. See it as a learning opportunity. Create that environment that people are not scared to fail. Because if people are scared to fail, what happens? Something goes wrong, and we look for someone to blame. Oh, we got someone to blame. We fire them, problem sorted. No, that's not. What have we learned? So creating those, as I said, creative thinking, learning, and to be able to embrace failure, very, very important. How does a growth mindset contribute to fostering innovation within a business? Innovation, very important. Obviously, if it makes you stand out from your competitors. Wow, look at what they're doing. What makes, and maybe it isn't, this is open to a discussion, but Apple launches a new product and you have people camping outside the branches 16 hours before it. What makes that? Is it innovation? Create an environment where you explore new ideas. I've mentioned people coming to you and say, "Oh, I've got this idea." Think about having a monthly brainstorm with everybody, just new ideas, thinking of themes, but also take on challenges. Don't shy away from someone. If think, oh, look, we're going to try this, and whether it be in a new market, whether it be a new product, new service, or something like that. Instead of saying fixed mindset, oh God, I don't know, that can't be done. Rather saying, wow, let's go and do some planning, but except don't just shy away from the idea. This is a good one. What role does leadership, so you as a leader of your organization or your business, what role does leadership play in promoting a growth mindset? It is critically important. You've got to demonstrate a growth mindset yourself. So you've got to embrace everything that we said. You've got to live everything that we said there. But how do you do that? Well, you've got to communicate with people, and when it comes to feedback, this is so important. It's very easy to be critical, but you be positive. you do criticize, you do discuss, but coming over such a way that the person embraces it and feels like, actually, do you know what? I've learned something out of it. I'm not scared to make a mistake going forward. Inspire your team to embrace challenges. You know, when they say, well, I think we can do 5 of these, and say, well, really, 5? What about 10? Challenge them, keep them that, wow, okay, let's see. Not go the extra mile, but don't just be satisfied with mediocrity. But you've got to continuously be growth mindset orientated and communicate that to the business. How can businesses integrate the concept of a growth mindset into their performance evaluation? It's a very good question. I think it's very similar to the previous one. But I think one of the biggest things is, so you have a 6-month or annual appraisals, and we so often we say, okay, well, there's objectives. Now, I'm not saying we don't set objectives and talk about how the objective has been achieved. That has to be done. But focus also on the process. How did you get to there? Why didn't you achieve it? We said this was 10 was where you were aiming at, you only got to 7. Why was that? How can we improve? I think it ties in with the whole failure and challenging bit. Focus on areas of development, how they can learn. What happened? How did that happen? Why did it happen? Right. How can we prevent that from happening again? What sort of learning mindset? I hope that answers that question. And it's looking at time. I think we've got time for one last one. What are some common challenges business may face when trying to cultivate a growth mindset, and how do they overcome them? I think the biggest thing is having fixed mindset among employees, and how do you get that? Not everybody. We resist change. I said earlier on, human beings don't like change. So how can we work to by saying it's not actually that bad. There is a side, there is a life after whatever the change is. The fear of failure, and I've harped on this all the way through, that embracing failure is part of a learning process. It's not part of a chastise, but embracing it, taking risks to be able to do that. But it's also important, all of this is important, that the team, the whole business needs to see, actually, do you know what, if we do this, wow, this is what's going to happen. This is how we're going to grow as a company. Now, all of this is only possible through clear, concise, and regular communication. We have to talk. And it's two-way. It's not just from your side. It's being able to listen to the feedback that you're getting from your team. Creating a safe space to take risks, to fail. As I said, away from any type of blame culture, and just embracing everything that a growth mindset is about and communicating. So I think that's all we've got time for today. I hope you found that interesting and worthwhile. I will give the hard copies to Karen so that she can put it so you can use it as reference. The last thing I'd like to do is I'd like to recommend this book. It's by Dr. Carol Dweck, and it's all about growth mindset. Really, really worth a read. It opened my eyes. I read this a couple of years ago. But yeah. So on that note, please get in touch. You have access to all the coaches and No Limit. So please go and ask the questions. Ask for a one-to-one with us. Write down your notes. But till next time, be open-minded. Embrace that growth mindset. Cheers, everyone.